I heard both sides of a cheating story. At my first job out of college, I quickly became friends with a guy named Scott, who was 3 years older than me. We often hung out together, hitting bars and partying. As we got closer, he told me about his ex girlfriend, Jodie, who had cheated on him. He said that after she broke up with him, he was absolutely devastated. Couldn't eat, couldn't sleep, and was constantly anxious. I'd gone through something similar when my first girlfriend broke up with me. Jodie also worked at our company, though in a different building. She was the daughter of a prominent local figure, and her family really liked Scott. They had been dating for just over a year, and he thought she was the one. Then, just a week before Christmas, she broke up with him suddenly and without explanation. It took Scott a long time to recover, and things only got worse when he found out in the spring that she was pregnant. When the baby was born, he realized she must have gotten pregnant at most 4 weeks after they broke up. She married the guy quickly, and they're still together today with 2 kids. Years passed. During that time, I met my wife, we got engaged and married. She worked elsewhere for a year, then transferred to my workplace. My wife, Emma, ended up working directly with Jody, and they quickly became friends. Scott and I drifted apart as I got more involved with Emma and started spending most weekends with her. We had a long distance relationship for about 18 months. Emma's not shy, and she asked Jody directly about her past with Scott. Jody said that while the relationship started off well, more and more red flags appeared over time. Scott was very immature for 25, still trying to live like a college student, always going out drinking, going blackout drunk, and even wetting the bed. He had no real future plans and held some deeply prejudiced views. He also didn't put much effort into the relationship. No dates, poor communication, um, that sort of thing. She had emotionally checked out months before finally ending it. She had tried to voice her concerns, but Scott would always play the victim, yeah, guilt tripping her. Meanwhile, her family adored Scott and dismissed her complaints. Jody said her family didn't even hide their disappointment when she broke up with him. Eventually, she'd had enough. She knew she had to end it, pack her things, and leave, quickly and firmly, without showing emotion. Otherwise, she'd get guilted into staying. That's exactly what she did in December. Not wanting to mope around, she accepted a friend's invite to a New Year's Eve party where she met a guy named Carter. They exchanged contact info that night and had their first date the following week. Back in middle school, when Jody hit puberty, she had severe menstrual symptoms and saw a specialist. They got her symptoms under control, but tests revealed she had a reproductive issue. I don't remember exactly what it was, but she told Emma. Doctors told her and her parents that it was extremely unlikely she'd ever conceive naturally. Because of that, Jody had always believed she was infertile. She admitted to Emma that she was never careful about protection and had never taken birth control. Her relationship with Carter became sexual almost immediately, and since she believed she couldn't get pregnant, they didn't use any protection. But she did get pregnant, against all odds. Things moved quickly, and they got married right away. 3 years later, they had a second child without even trying, which made Jody question whether her fertility issues were real at all, and thankful she hadn't gotten pregnant accidentally in high school or college. Until he moved away, Scott avoided Jody like the plague. He remained convinced she'd cheated, and that was why she dumped him. He never once acknowledged that their relationship had any issues. To be honest, I found myself agreeing with Jody's take on his immaturity. Over the years we were friends, it was clear Scott just didn't want to grow up. Even with the woman who would eventually become his wife after a few years of dating, his first big romantic gesture was to give her a promise ring, like they were in high school. And by then, he was already in his 30s. We're all in our 40s now. Scott moved back to his hometown, got married, and now has 3 kids. A few years later, Emma and I moved away too. Jody and her husband still live in the same town. I often think about this story when I'm reading relationship threads on Reddit because people usually only tell one side of the story, and I always wonder how many of them are as dramatically different as this one when you hear both sides.